Okay, this is where I went up on the roof, but we're over here now. A tree shouldn't be any closer than 25 feet to a structure. It's wood, it's pier and beam foundation. This house has vents. Okay. Lawn sprinkler head should not be any closer than 12 inches to a structure. Otherwise it's going to spray the house. When this house was built, this window casement, they really didn't have Z-bar flashing. It really wasn't available. The rafters, okay, those are called dovetails, exposed rafters. The rain gutter should discharge water farther away from the house. It's not really draining water. The water's just going to come out here and hit this. It's just going to stay here. It's going to pool here. We've got some negative drainage over here. We've got some cracking and peeling paint over there. Whee! More trees too close to the house, and I get it. I get it. We all want trees. This rain gutter right here. It's got an open end right there, and it pours water right onto the house, and then right up in there you can see a little gap. Wind-driven rain can get up in that corner as well. The rain gutter's too close to the house again. The water meter's out here. And I can't find a main shutoff valve, so that's probably your main shutoff valve. Not supposed to be. But it is at my house, which is not for sale. And it looks like it is for this house. This is your water meter gauge. This dial right here. Got the smaller right in there. See that little triangular thing? That's called a flow indicator. Some people call it a cheater paddle. Okay. If that's moving, you have water moving. Fresh water, potable water. You've got a water leak someplace. So go find it. If it's someplace that you can't see, then it's someplace that you can't see. If that guy's moving, he's pretty sensitive. I'll come back and get that in a minute. Coming along. I'm going to go back, yank you around a little bit. All these bushes, they're too close to the house. They're not actually touching it. So for a wood destroying insect report, it's really not going to be written up as an issue. With that being said, more air should circulate behind these. The bushes are good because they break the shear force of the wind and they can actually reduce your energy bills. But all roofs, homeownership 101, all roofs leak and all walls leak. And the idea is they're supposed to dry out faster than they're supposed to, and they're supposed to discharge moisture faster than they accept it, because we want to keep the inside dry. And when these bushes are so close, then those walls won't dry out as fast as they normally would. These posts should have had stands installed underneath them, little metal stands to pick them up off the sidewall, off the porch surface there. You can tell that water's been wicking up inside of here. Okay, we got a little bit of wood rot right in there. See that? It's because they didn't have the stands. Now, this porch isn't tall enough to require a handrail, guardrail, excuse me. But since you do have a guardrail, then the baluster rails are not supposed to be spaced farther apart than 4 inches. A child could spin out through there. And they're quite low too. They're less than 36 inches. Again, they're not even required here, but since they are here, the steps have dropped down here a little bit. So, and then this step is quite low because it's tilted this way. And you're not supposed to have more than a 32nd of an inch height differential between your steps. Again, the structure was built this way, but there should be a gap by current standards. There should be a gap underneath the siding, just like you should have a stand for these posts and that gap would allow water to weep out instead of holding it. This is on the main house. This is the only exterior GFCI controlled receptacle. Coming along, these steps are beyond the scope of this inspection. You're going to get used to hearing that, but they're not dimensionally uniform, so they may be trip hazards. This is the water to the house. We've got about 80 psi. So that's about maximum, which is good. You've got enough, that's for sure. This is the check valve for the lawn sprinkler system. You're supposed to have 3 inches of difference, clearance underneath that. And the floor is supposed to be lined with gravel so it doesn't fill up with mud like it has. And then these little bleeder ports right here, they should have caps on them. There's a couple of loose caps in there. There's one of your shutoff valves right in there. The handle's all rusty. We don't have a main shutoff valve to the lawn sprinkler system. Nor do we seem to have one for the whole house. I don't know how that works. This guy right here, he's GFCI protected. Excuse me, he's GFCI protected, and I tested him. That guy over there on the front porch, he's not. This is the only exterior GFCI receptacle apparent on the house. This wood mulch underneath the drip line, that's conducive to wood destroying insects. The rain gutter doesn't divert water far enough away. Moving on along. This is the south side. Looks a little better. All this. And there's your clothes dryer. So there's your clothes dryer vent right there. We'll get a better look at that. Maybe we can get one now. That looks like. All this wood should not be stored next to the house. That's conducive to wood destroying insects. Steps should not be higher than 7 3/4 inches and shouldn't have more than a 32nd of an inch difference. So these steps violate a couple things. We got the wood right over there. We're missing the bottom kick plate out of the storm door. Storm doors are beyond the scope of the inspection. This is your air conditioning system. I believe it was installed in 2017, maybe 2019, but I think it's 2017. Regardless, I'm going to check it. Regardless, it's relatively new, 17, 18, 19, 20, so it's 3 years old. Maybe between 1 and 3. You've got 410A, that's the right kind of new refrigerant, and it's fused properly, and it's 2.5 tons, which should be enough. But whether this was installed in 2017 or 19, this is the wrong foam. Okay, it's supposed to have a rigid foam that protects it from the sun's UV rays, from mice chewing on it, dogs chewing on it. You're just supposed to have that. This did not meet the energy requirement that was in place when this was installed. These are refrigerant service ports, Schrader valves. Good luck looking that up. That's where 90% of your leaks are. It's at these valves, and this valve is missing its cap. And whether it was 17 or 19, these should have been anti-theft Schrader valve caps. So the wrong kind of caps were installed, one cap's missing. Wrong kind of foam was installed. I'll look at the coils a little better here in a little bit. There's the main disconnect. It's not supposed to be behind the unit. No. Like the meter cover, I'll put that back here in a minute. Not supposed to be behind the unit. You're supposed to be able to get to it. There's another closed dryer valve. I wonder which one's which. The one on the roof, though, assuming that that's not a closed dryer vent, then it's not breaking any rules. This is the front faucet and the back faucet. These handles, these plastic handles, I like the ball valves. They're easy to handle, work. But these plastic handles, you can see it's oxidizing. They break, they don't last as long. And we do not have vacuum breakers for them. This is some kind of shut-off irrigation box. Can't find a valve in that. Coming along. is that surface drop we were talking about earlier. It's in the trees. Let's talk some more. We only have one ground wire. It's supposed to have two. We have stackable breakers in here. Okay, that's a double breaker. It's a 220. That's a single breaker, single breaker, single breaker. These are called stackable breakers. And in some electric service panels, they're allowed, and others they are not. And the label is missing, so I can't ascertain, I can't determine whether stackable breakers are allowed in this panel or not. There's some stackable breakers in the garage, and that panel is labeled for stackable breakers. Now, it's white hot right here. It should be wrapped with black tape. The bonding location should be posted inside of here. This neutral should be wrapped with white tape. These three lugs should have little rubber protective covers on them. And coming on along here, and right there, neutrals, grounds, this is okay. Okay, but neutrals, these white wires, they're not supposed to be double lugged. So you got two wires held in place with one screw. You're not supposed to do that. Coming on along. Just for it. It's electric cable, okay? It's bringing power into the detached garage. Alright, see how it's bent like that? It's not supposed to be bent like that, and it's oxidizing. And just like over the garage roof, there's no drip loop there, so there's nothing to keep the water from coming in the conduit and coming into the electrical system. This garage is beyond the scope. It's got several foundations. It's got some framing issues, storage issues, all that. Alright, got extension cords used in permanent applications. It looks like it does have a GFCI right there. The fluorescent lights should have protective covers. This is all cursory. It's obvious the building paper is not installed on the interior sides of the walls. We do not have enough rafters. We do not have collar ties or collar beams. It's obvious that this roof has been leaking. But I brought you in here. Electric cables closer than 6 feet unprotected inside. And I brought you in here. For this is a sub panel. This actually, to the best of my knowledge, delivers power through that wall to the outbuilding, to the casita, to the little man cave, the shed. Okay, inside of here, it's not supposed to be hand labeled. I won't pick on it. It's not supposed to be hand labeled. It's supposed to be printed like that. And you can look at this one, and this is a good example, but you can look at this one, you can see the stackable breakers, which you have. Stackable breakers are allowed in this panel. That's about all I can see about this guy. We got a screw. The other panel doesn't. Okay, storage kind of limits this, but you can see the separate foundations over there. So this is just basic storage. Okay, simple storage.